Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's episode, we are diving into a topic that affects almost all of us, which is procrastination. We've all been there, putting off tasks, delaying important decisions, or finding distractions that seem way more appealing than what we actually need to be doing. But the question is, what's going on in our minds when we procrastinate? Is it simply about being lazy? Or is there something deeper at play? In this episode, we'll explore the psychology behind procrastination, why we do it, and most importantly, how we can break the cycle and get back on track. So whether you are a chronic procrastinator or just someone who from time to time struggles with staying focused, this episode has something for you. So what is procrastination? It is the act of delaying or postponing tasks, actions, or decisions despite knowing that this delay could have negative consequences. It's a common behavior that often involves choosing comfort or distractions over completing more important or more challenging tasks. Please note that there is a difference between procrastination and simply being busy or managing time poorly. The distinction between them is important because these behaviors often seem similar on the surface, but they are driven by different underlying causes and have different consequences. The main difference is that procrastination is a choice to delay work. Being busy might look productive but lacks real focus. And poor time management involves a lack of organization and prioritization. Understanding these differences can help you better address your specific challenges, whether you need to work on your emotional regulation in case of procrastination, improve your focus in case of being busy, or manage your time and expectations more effectively in case of poor time management. To understand procrastination more, we need to understand psychological and emotional causes. So the first one is the fear of failure, which is a common trigger for procrastination. When someone is afraid they won't perform well, they may avoid starting the task to avoid confronting that possibility. In this case, procrastination becomes a defense mechanism against this fear. If the task is never started, then the possibility of failure never has to be faced. The second point is perfectionism, which often leads to a null or nothing mentality, where if the task cannot be done flawlessly, it's better not to attempt it. Another point is avoidance of negative emotions. Many people procrastinate because they want to avoid the unpleasant emotions associated with certain tasks. Whether it's stress, anxiety, boredom, or frustration, these emotions can make the task feel overwhelming and lead people to delay doing it. Another cause is low self-esteem or self-doubt. This can have a profound impact on procrastination as individuals who struggle with their self-worth often avoid tasks because they fear they won't succeed or aren't capable enough. Another cause is a lack of motivation or drive. So if someone doesn't see the value or meaning in what they are doing, they may struggle to get started. It's also related to goal ambiguity. So if your task or goal is unclear, it will be hard for you to know where to start, and you may start to procrastinate. Now that we've explored some of underlying causes of procrastination, let's look at how this plays out in real life. In my case, I was someone who avoided starting to drive after getting my driver's license for too many years. Even though I knew that I needed to take that first step, the fear of making mistakes or the discomfort of the unknown made me delay getting behind the wheel. This time of procrastination is influenced by emotional factors such as fear or uncertainty, which hold me back from taking action. Now that we've explored the key causes of procrastination, it's important to take a closer look at one of the most powerful forces behind it, which is instant gratification. In our modern world, distractions are abundant, and procrastinators may find themselves drawn to activities that offer immediate satisfaction, even if they know these actions are taking time away from important tasks. This instant gratification feels rewarding to the brain, which can reinforce the procrastination cycle. The pleasure or relaxation felt in avoiding the task tricks the brain into thinking it made the right choice. We cannot speak about the instant gratification and the brain without talking about the brain's feel good chemical, dopamine, often associated with pleasure and reward. Procrastination can occur when we don't get an immediate dopamine boost from doing the task. Instead, the brain seeks out easy sources of dopamine like social media or video games. So here, the brain starts valuing immediate rewards over future ones. This leads to time discounting, where the present self chooses short-term comfort over the well-being of the future self. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt a negative emotion after procrastinating? I'm sure that the response will be a big yes. Because while procrastination might offer immediate relief, the aftermath is often filled with negative emotions like guilt, shame, and frustration. These emotions not only feel bad in the moment, but can also make it even harder to get back on track, creating a vicious cycle that's tough to break. The procrastination has an impact on our productivity, often resulting in rushed work, missed deadlines, and lower quality of output. It has also an impact on our mental health, such as increased stress, anxiety, and feelings of guilt. It can also contribute to depression when long-term goals continue to be avoided. It has also an impact on our relationships, especially if one person is unreliable or doesn't meet commitments due to habitual delay. Now, let's see how to break the procrastination habit. Breaking the cycle of procrastination and getting back on track requires a combination of self-awareness, practical strategies, and psychological shifts. Here are some methods you can use to overcome procrastination and regain control of your tasks. The first one is acknowledge and understand your procrastination. The first step in breaking the cycle is understanding why you are procrastinating in the first place. Is it fear of failure, perfectionism, or simply being overwhelmed? Once you understand the reason, you can address it more effectively. The second one is recognize that nobody is perfect. Accept that getting started, even imperfectly, is better than avoiding the task altogether. The third one is break tasks into smaller, manageable steps. Large tasks can feel overwhelming, which is a common trigger for procrastination. Break your tasks down into smaller, more manageable pieces, and try to focus on one step at a time. Another method is the 2-minute rule. So if a task feels too overwhelming, try to commit to working on it for just 2 minutes. Often, once you start, you'll find that it's easier to continue. If you can push yourself to work for just a couple of minutes, it often leads to longer, more productive sessions. Another powerful strategy to fight procrastination is the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins. It works by using a simple countdown technique to break the mental hesitation that leads to procrastination. The idea is you count down from 5 to 1, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then immediately act on the task you've been avoiding. The countdown interrupts the brain's usual patterns of hesitation, fear, or indecision. By acting quickly, you bypass your brain's tendency to overthink and avoid. Another point is shift your mindset and address negative emotions. Shift your thinking from what you're avoiding to the benefits of completing the task. Think about how good it will feel when the task is done, or the sense of accomplishment you'll have. For example, if you always procrastinate whenever you need to exercise or work out, rather than focusing on how tired or unmotivated you feel to work out, imagine how much stronger and healthier you will feel once the workout is over. Remind yourself that regular exercise will boost your energy, improve your mood, and also will help you with long-term health. Another example, if you procrastinate whenever you have a difficult phone call to make at work, instead of focusing on the discomfort of making an awkward or challenging call, Remind yourself how much easier it will be once it's done, and how you'll have resolved whatever issue you were avoiding. You'll feel relieved and proud of facing the challenge, and you'll likely find that the situation wasn't as difficult as you initially imagined. Let's continue with our methods. The next one is visualize success. Take a few minutes to imagine yourself completing the task successfully. Picture how you'll feel once it's done and the relief or satisfaction you'll experience. This mental rehearsal can make the task feel more achievable and less intimidating. The last one is reward yourself for progress. Set up a reward system for completing tasks. So, for example, if you've been procrastinating about starting to drive like me, reward yourself after each small step. For example, after you start the car and drive around the block or just complete a short drive, treat yourself to something simple like your favorite snack or something. After a successful solo drive to a destination, reward yourself with something more meaningful. And as you become more comfortable, set new challenges for yourself like driving longer distances, and continue to reward yourself with little joys along the way. Remind yourself to celebrate the small wins. Acknowledge and celebrate progress no matter how small. The more you reward yourself for staying on track, the more you will reinforce positive habits. And whenever you feel like the procrastination is coming back, take time to self-reflection. Take time to reflect on your values and motivations, because understanding why the task is important to you and connecting it to your long-term goals can provide extra motivation to get started. In conclusion, breaking the cycle of procrastination is not about expecting perfection or being hard on yourself. It's about taking small, consistent steps toward change. Remember that starting is the hardest part, and once you make the first step, the task often becomes much easier. By implementing these strategies like setting goals and addressing emotional triggers, you can gradually break free from procrastination and become more productive and focused. So, be patient with yourself as you work through the process. Procrastination is a habit, and like any habit, it takes time to change. The key is persistence and consistency in applying the strategies that work best for you. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. If you found this helpful, don't forget to share it with someone who might need that extra push. And I'd love to hear about how you're tackling procrastination. So feel free to reach out and share your progress. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time.